This is a 2022 RS7, and I've already done a full-on review of this car, but in this video I'm going to be going over the 5 coolest features just so you can see the best things about this car instead of having to go and watch an entire 15-minute video. But you still should watch that review if you have the time, plus the upcoming 0 to 60 video where I actually get this car tested and proven to be around Audi's specified time. So anyways, let's hop into the 5 coolest features of the 2022 Audi RS7. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the engine powering the RS7. This is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, makes 591 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque, and it's mated to a ZF automatic 8-speed transmission. Audi says this will do 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds, which we're going to test. And this is of course mated to the Quattro all-wheel drive system, which is Audi's all-wheel drive system and has been for the last 3 decades and thereabout. So yeah, it is an amazing engine that makes a bunch of power. Sadly, 3.5 seconds isn't the fastest German super sedan on the market, but you know, we're gonna test and see if Audi's right. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about are actually the Audi RS7's drive modes. So the cool part about it is your 2 RS modes, which are basically your 2 individual modes that you can customize to your liking. So from the home menu, you just go to Vehicle, and then you go to Audi Drive Select, and in here you can see you have your 3 standard drive modes: Auto, Comfort, and Dynamic. Comfort's going to be your non-sporty mode. Auto, it's going to basically choose for you, and Dynamic is going to be your sport mode. But then over here you have your RS modes, and you can edit each one of these and change their features right here. So you can change your drive from balance to sport, your suspension settings, your steering settings, the engine sound, which present's going to be your loudest, and the Quattro Sport differential settings, and you have your RS2 mode right here. So you can set those up however you want, and those drive modes are activatable using the RS button on the steering wheel, which will put it into RS1 mode, and if you press it again, you'll go into RS2, and then if you press it again, you go back into your normal drive mode, which in this case is Auto. So yes, the RS1 and RS2 modes are actually really nice. Also in your Audi Drive Select system right here, you can raise and lower the suspension to your liking. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is less sport oriented and more luxury oriented, and that is because this is also a luxury car. There is about a $5,000 option on this car, and that is the Bang & Olufsen 3D Advanced Sound System, which sounds absolutely amazing and is one of the highest rated sound systems for luxury vehicles. So the Q8 has it, which is a 23 speaker system, and the RS7 has it as a 19 speaker system, and you can edit those settings for the system in the menu right here. So things you can change is things like the treble, the bass, those are pretty normal, and the fade and balance, which is pretty normal, which allows you to select sounds and push them to certain sides of the car. But you can also edit things like these subwoofer settings to be more bassy and more rattly and shaky, which personally I like it towards the top. And then under that, you could change the focus, which changes the area the sound is more towards. So on top of the normal settings, you have things like your surround sound level, which adds this kind of echo as you go up towards the max, which is kind of cool, but if you're listening to it at loud volumes, it kind of gets all mixed up and jarbled around. And your 3D effect, which is that 3D advanced part of the sound system, which adds more of a 3D tone to the audio, so it feels like you're actually there. And of course you have your speed dependent volume control, which is basically your speed adjusted, so if you're going faster the music gets louder, which probably isn't good for crazy drivers. But anyways, this is a really good sound system, one of the best I've ever heard, though the Q8s is still much better, but that's because it's an SUV. If you are interested in getting an RS7, I highly recommend the Bang & Olufsen 3D Advanced over the 3D Premium, though both are pretty good. All right, the next feature I want to talk about, and I find this pretty cool, but for as long as the RS7 has existed, it's always had a deployable spoiler, and the new one is nothing short of the same. So you have this button right here in your top control stack of the bottom screen, and it has 2 arrows on it in what looks like a cone stretching off the back of the RS7, but this is your spoiler raise and lower button. So if I hold it and raise it and look back there, and if you press and hold it again, the spoiler will go down. Make sure you hold it or it won't go down. But yes, you could press that button to raise and retract the rear spoiler on the car. Now when it is up, I think it adds a cooler, more sporty look to the RS7. And when it's down, you know, you still get a really cool looking super sedan, but it just looks normal now. And the final thing I want to talk about is the overarching technology inside of the Audi RS7. This car is packed with it. First, in the center, the first thing you notice is the fact that you're going to have two well-sized screens containing all the controls for the car. Now, I know a lot of people complain about the fact that they'd rather have their climate controls and volume controls as physical buttons instead of in the screen, but in Audi's case, they made it a little more bearable due to the fact that it has haptic feedback, and you can even slide your finger to raise and lower the temperature on your side. Same thing with the fan control and fan speed, which is nice. And then you have your heated and cooled seats as well. This also has really good safety features such as automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, and adaptive cruise control. And you can even option things like night vision on the car just in case you don't want to hit a deer because you live in a very rural part of the country. Now on the top screen, you're basically going to have your main command center. This is a super responsive system. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. I already walked you through the vehicle settings and everything like that. The navigation is superb, really good. You can even get a Google Maps subscription to use on this car that presents itself in this screen right here and in the gauge cluster. And speaking of the gauge cluster, plenty of customizability. You can make it show your navigation, like 4 different gauge cluster options. It has the like parallel new thing that Audi does where it builds the revs up, and you have the one that looks like an upside down 7. It's just such a cool car with so much technology, and I love it. Oh, even though the BMW is faster, I mean, like, the interior of this thing to me is just way more high-tech and way up more on my alley. And those are my 5 favorite features on the 2022 Audi RS7. Let me know what you guys think of this car in the description below. Make sure you watch our upcoming 0 to 60 video of this car, and make sure you go back and watch the review to learn everything there is about the 2022 Audi RS7. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you want to see more from us, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you know when we upload. I'll see you all in the next video.